Start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaivam Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Shrinuvatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Pradyanthasthoya Abhadrani Vidonati Suritsataam Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 6, Text 28. Hitva Yaksheshwara Purim Vanam Saugandhikam Chatat Drume Kamaduger Pridyam Chitramalya Falachida. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada teacher. While traveling, the demigods passed over the forest known as Saugandhika, which is full of variety of flowers, fruits, and desired trees. While passing over the forest, they also saw the regions of Yaksheshwara. Purport. Yaksheshwara is also known as Kuvera, and he is the treasurer of the demigods. In the description of him in Vedic literature, it is stated that he is fabulously rich. It appears from these verses that Kalisa is situated near the residential quarters of Kuvera. It is also stated here that forest was full of desired trees. In Brahma Samhita, we learn about the desired trees which is found in the spiritual world, especially in Krishna Loka, the abode of Lord Krishna. We learn here that such desired trees are also found in Kalisa, the residence of Lord Shiva. By the grace of Krishna, it thus appears that Kalisha has a special significance. It is almost like the residence of Lord Krishna. Verse 29. Raktakanta Khagnika Swara Mandita Satpadam Kalahamsa Kula Preshtam Khardanda Jalashayam. Translation. In the celestial forest, there were many birds whose necks were colored reddish and whose sweet sound mixed with humming of the bees. The lakes are abundantly decorated with crying swans as well as strong stamped lotus flowers. Purport. The beauty of the forest was intensified by the presence of various lakes. It is described herein that the lakes were decorated with lotus flowers and with swans who played and sang with the birds and the humming bees. Considering all these attributes, one can imagine how beautiful this spot was and how much the demigods passing through enjoyed the atmosphere. There are many paths and beautiful spots created by the man on this planet Earth, but none of them can surpass those of Kalisa as they are described in these verses. End of purport. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I seek the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas so that I can use today's lecture to purify myself. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to purify myself. I'm going to read from a lecture given by His Holiness Prahladana Swami Maharaj. Please pardon me if I add any of my own interpretation to this summary. So these verses give a description of heavenly planets which have actual material opulence. As we find out, they have beautiful lakes, birds, flowers, clean air, fresh water, nice food, and peaceful life. Here in the material world, we lack these material opulences. So we are dissatisfied and always hungry for a good environment, nice food, good relationships. We are always hankering for these things in the material world. And despite our constant effort, we are not successful in getting the material opulence. So, what to talk about spiritual opulence? That is the next level. And as predicted in Srimad Bhagavatam, we'll find out in the 12th canto, verse 2.1, that Shukdev Goswami says, Tataschanu dina dharma satyam shocham kshamadaya kalena balina rajan nanakshati ayurbalam smriti. So Shukdev Goswami says that, O king, religion, truthfulness, cleanliness, tolerance, mercy, duration of life, physical strength, and memory will all diminish day by day because of the powerful influence of age of Kali. So we can clearly see that as the influence of Kali Yuga increase, we will lose all the good qualities. Now, because dharma will be decreased, also everything will diminish. We cannot imagine even maintaining any material opulence. But we all know that there is one great opportunity in Kali Yuga, the holy name and this Sankirtan movement. But people are so worried about with their problems, they are so beset with their day-to-day issues that they have no time for chanting and they are always trying to solve those issues. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 15.7, Mamevansho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manah shasthani indriyani prakriti sthani karshati. So Krishna says that all the living beings in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. But due to the conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. So Krishna has already said that we are always struggling in this world. But as soon as there is some relief from the struggle, the mind comes up with an idea of enjoyment. For example, when we are sick, or when we are tired, or when we are going through a bad time, we will not feel like eating a lot or enjoying. But as soon as we get little better, we want to feast, we want to enjoy. So, but devotees, on the other hand, they may not have a lot of opulence, but they know how to utilize it. Once a disciple of Srila Prabhupada was just telling him that, Prabhupada, John Lennon, who was one of the Beatles, he's so rich. He has millions and millions of dollars. And Srila Prabhupada heard that and he said, well, what is the use if he does not know how to spend it? And everyone was surprised there. So Prabhupada said, if he thinks that opulence is in drinking the rotten grapes juice, which is wine, and eating dead animals, which is meat, then what is the use of this money? A devotee may not have all that money, but knows where to go and how to eat proper prasadam. So devotee's standard of living is higher. If materialists see the devotees, then they will be envious. For example, we know that the brahmacharis who live in the brahmachari ashrams or even the priests in the temple, they all live in a very austere way. They don't have a lot of facility, but they are much more happier compared to the so-called rich people. And this way, devotees know what is the goal of life and how to achieve it. The goal of life is not just increasing your material comfort. In fact, beyond this material comfort, the real happiness lies, which is spiritual happiness in Krishna consciousness. But before we can reach there, we have to believe that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Krishna helps us by explaining in Bhagavad Gita 5.29, Bhoktaram Yagyatapasam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram Suhradam Sarva Bhutanam gyatva mam shantim rachati. So Krishna is saying a person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries. So the formula to attain peace is we need to understand that everything belongs to Krishna, even my body. And it is simply an illusion given to me. This body is an illusion given to me because I wanted it. And then all things related to body are also in imagination. All relationships, all the uh, paraphernalia, the properties, all the things we have, we think it's all mine. And one day we'll find out the hard way that nothing was mine when it will be the time to leave. Once Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was asked, how many disciples do you have? At that time, he had about 60,000 disciples all over the India, and he had built many temples around the country. But he said, I have just four disciples, and everyone was surprised to hear that. Then he explained, I have two hands and two legs as my disciples because they usually listen to me. So we may imagine that I own so many things and I have so many relations, but we need to understand that at the end of the day, none of that is going to help us. Also, we are not the doer nor the proprietor. So, we should find out what Krishna wants me to do with this body. And then, if we agree with that, then what will happen? This is also explained in Bhagavad Gita 14.26. Mam cha yo vicharen bhakti yogena sevate sa gunan sam titentan brahma bhutaya kalpate. One who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. So when we reach at this level, then we become Brahma Bhuta Prasanna Atma. Then we'll become joyful, right? So it's one thing to understand in theory that I'm not this body, I'm Atma. And it's another thing to practice it, right? It's another thing to give up the spirit of enjoyment. That desire to enjoy the body may still be there, even if we become devotee and even if we realize I'm not this body, but the desire to enjoy is there. So we should follow Krishna's instructions with love and not take credit for anything. As Krishna says, Nimitta Matram Bhav Savisachin, 1133. So we can become instrument, we have to decide, we can become instruments in the hands of Maya or Krishna. It's by Guru's mercy that we get the opportunity to become Krishna conscious. Guru has accepted the instructions coming in the disciplic succession, and Guru has become an instrument. So, by his help, we can also become an instrument in the service of Krishna. And this way, we can get out of the modes of material nature, and then we can desire properly and work for the benefit of ourselves and for others. And this way, we can become civilized beings first before achieving the high status of a Krishna conscious person. Right? So, what is a civilized person? Chanakya Pandit says, Matrivat paradareshu paradraveshu loshta vatamavat sarvabhuteshu yah prashyati sapandita. An educated person is one who sees the other people's property as garbage on the street, deals with others as he would like to deal with him, and sees every woman except his wife as mother. In this material world, it is everything is transactional, give and take. We may call it love, but actually it is lust. So that is why we keep getting disappointed trying to look for love in this material world. The real love is when we serve others to become Krishna consciousness. We should see our wife, our children in this way, not in the mood of exploitation, right? So, as we like others to do good to us, we should help others also. Uh, we sometimes we feel, oh, it is very difficult to chant japa. One time, uh, Prahlad Maharaj, he is explaining his own pastime that he asked Srila Prabhupada, can I remember Krishna's pastime when I'm chanting? And he was hoping for an answer. Oh, yes, yes, that's very nice. But Srila Prabhupada said, no, you should simply chant and listen. And if the pastimes come automatically to you, then it is very nice. We can't force our way in Krishna's pastimes. We have to develop the mood of engaging in Krishna's service, not that give him order for our wish list, that now you come and show me your pastimes. The mood of service and wanting to please Krishna is the way to enter Krishna's pastime. We should check what mood am I chanting. Is my mood uh, of ignorance and passion, or is it of satoguna? If we are distracted, then we are not listening to the chanting, but to the mind which is constantly throwing things at us. Sometimes we remember things that happened 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago, and then we just make those things very important. We we think we can't wait for them, we can't wait to take care of them. But we need to become aloof from our mind. We have to hear the chanting to know how we are chanting. And chanting is only the beginning, it's a means, it's not the end. The fact that we are trying to chant is not the perfection. We need to chant with attention so that we can feel how it is. We have troubles focusing because of our attachments and our because of our problems. Sometimes we hope that if everything was perfect, then my mind will not be disturbed, then I will be able to chant nicely and make advancement. But we have to remember that that day will never come. Even Lord Brahma has not achieved that state. So there is never a time in this material world when everything will be peaceful, perfectly well situated. In fact, Arjuna says in Bhagavad Gita 6:34, Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramathi balavadranam tasya aham nigraham manye vayuriv sudushkaram. That my man is very chanchal and it is more difficult to control the mana than to control the vayu. So Krishna recommends to him, Asamshayam mahabaho mano durnigraham chalam abhyasena tu konteya vairagena cha grahayate. So Lord Krishna says, yes, it is undoubtedly very difficult to curb the restless mind, but it is possible by suitable practice and by detachment. Krishna does not say that you wait for everything to become perfect and then you chant. He says you practice and also detach yourself from things. And we have to have the faith that Krishna and Radha are listening to us when we are chanting, right? And we are calling out Srimati Radharani and Krishna to engage us in their service. So if we are sincere, then they will take us seriously, right? And we have to do it without desiring and lamenting anything. And Krishna says that in Bhagavad Gita that I will give you the intelligence to chant better, right? Tesham satata yukta nam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yen mamupyanti te 10.10. So to those who are constantly devoted to me, serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. So if we can, if throughout the day, we have to understand that in order to chant properly, what we are doing for the rest of the day. If rest of the day we are in the mode of passion, trying to control things and enjoy things, then when we are chanting, the same thoughts will come to us. So what we do before chanting is also very important than what we do during the chanting, right? If we spend the day serving and remembering Krishna, acting as an instrument, utilizing our mind, body, and words, then my mind will not be so disturbed while chanting, right? And then we will not be deviated. So to chant lovingly, we need to first understand what love is, right? Everybody says you have to chant like a kid crying for the mother, right? So first we need to have the same love that the child has for the mother, right? So if we are sincere and if we remember Krishna in the mood of devotion and service, right? Then when Krishna reveals himself, then I will know how loving Krishna is, how blissful he is, right? And then we will feel the love of Krishna. But before we can come to that spontaneous stage of feeling the love of Krishna, we need to follow the directions of our Guru and previous Acharyas and try to understand how to become a good servant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We should not artificially pretend that we have some high level of consciousness and we are imagining the pastimes, because this will be imagination and not reality. If we want to actually revive our relationship with Krishna, then we need to take shelter in the instructions of previous acharyas and gurus and do good to others and do good to ourselves. With this, I would like to end. Thank you very much. Panchakalpa